Now, I want to try to pull up, if I can, see if I can pull up, and I'm going to show you how you do what's called progressions, okay? Now, I could show you, let me see something, 1960 progressions. Wait, 1960 progressions. Have any of you ever done any work with progressions yet? Do you know what they are? Did I lose everybody? Okay. Do I still have you guys?
Yes, I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right,
we're
just
here.
checking. All right. You know what? I could tell you on this chart, on actually his chart, because I'm like having trouble getting the screen. Okay, here's what you do. When you're doing a progression, all right, and you guys can look this up in the Bible, and I think there's two basic Bible quotes about this, about there's two parts in the Bible where God makes a prophecy where he refers to a year for a day, or something represents a year for a day, but there's just references to this, and this is where the astrologers get this concept of secondary progressions, which is a year for a day. All right, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, because I'm having trouble pulling up my progression, but we're looking at the screen for his chart, my ex-husband. But let's say he was born on January 1st, okay? Now, what you do in the ephemeris is, because in the software, you can just run them. It's super easy, but I want to show you how to have a backup in a book and kind of understand the concept of how you can do also a quick look on progressions and tell things, okay? Um, if I was to go down to the second line, that tells me his first year of life, all right? So in other words, I compare the planets where they are in the second line to the first line. And that will tell me what's going to happen in this person's first year of life. Then I go down to the third line. That will tell me the third year. I go down to the fourth, and it gives me the fourth year.
Mhm.
And what you can do with progressions is, as you see the planets change, God, I wish I could pull mine up because I've got mine more memorized, you know? Um, but there's things that happen in there that can tell you major events. Again, like death, moving, marriage, first sexual experience shows up in progressions. I mean, boy, you should see the look on people's faces when I go, you lost it at this age, and they're going, you know,
Mm.
because it's your first sexual encounter, which may not be sexual intercourse, by the way, but it is the first sexual encounter, which for some people could be assault, because my first sexual experience shows up in my chart at 8 years old, but it shows up as a sexual assault.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have another one that hits me at 15, which Peter that went right in and said, you got assaulted by a neighbor. I was like, how the hell did you see that? Because he was looking at the ephemeris. Again, you look at the comparisons between the birth year, the line of the birth year, and then you go down to the line for each year that you're counting. Now, let me see if I can get my astro one to come up, and I'll show you a little bit more what I mean by that. Let me see. Because now we have software that can do it. So it's like terrific, right? All right, so let me see. Let's see, A1. I thought I had my chart in here. I bet it crashed again. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do progressions in the astrology. All right. Now, on my left, I've got my natal chart. Can you guys see AstroWind now?
No.
No. All right. Let's see if I can get AstroWind to show up. Okay, screen share. Uh, Let me see. What do you guys see on the screen right now?
Still ephemeris?
Okay, you're still in the ephemeris. Do you see
Yes.
AstroWind yet?
No.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Go back to the meeting. Share. Why am I not getting? Let me
Do
see.
you have one that says screen?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What the
I
hell?
thought it was in the like top left.
Top left, slide, show meeting, nope. Slide, nope, nope, nope.
You
Share.
want me to pull it up?
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you get
What
it to
time?
show on the screen?
I think so. What time were you born? I remember your birthday.
Yeah, August 1st, 1960, 12:45 p.m.
Oh, that's right. And I
in
was
Los
11:45.
Angeles. See if we can get it to show up on the screen,
Okay. And we're
because
just
then I can show
doing
you how to do the
natal.
progressions in the software.
Okay. Let's see. So,
Share computer
uh,
sound. Nope,
um,
it's not in chat. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Okay. I think I found it.
ah, okay.
Okay, hold on. I think I found it. Wait. Share sound. No. As background over the shoulder. Why is this not showing up? Oh, share. Here we go. Okay. Now do you see Astrowind?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I just pulled up mine because I want to show you how to do. Now I know from experience when we rectified the chart, I'm in a Coke house system. So I do that. All right. Now what I do for progressions and to compare to, to get a feel for what's coming or what's past, I'll show you that is I always go into transits progress natal. Okay. And that'll give me the tri-wheel. The outer is my natal chart, what I was born with. And that's what I call the promise. Everything that's going to happen to you from birth to death is going to be in that chart. You can tell past lives from that chart. You can tell your next life from that chart. You can, I mean, by flipping that chart around, you can see a lot about your particular life. And by the way, that's why I had you watch those two videos before you came to class, because I wanted you to see that they have proven. I think these videos that I, shared with you to watch, they showed you that there is something that happens where people can connect to each other, and there's something in people that knows. You do know everything that's going to be happening to you on some level. And when you connect through rapport, that rapport video I sent you is very natural, which by the way, it's one of the reasons why many churches, they have you start out singing together. What they're doing is they're creating rapport. And then when they do prophecy to you, that's one of the ways that they can do it is because they're connecting to you through that rapport. It's a natural thing that anybody can do, just getting in the right frame of mind. And
Yeah.
that's one thing you have to understand what you're doing. When you're looking at another person, all right, something happens when you do that. You have a certain responsibility in a sense. So before you go off doing anything to anybody else, I want to urge you to be very good at what you're doing because people take readings very seriously. And when you say something to someone and you affect them in any way, you affect their decision, that's a karmic responsibility. So for me, I made sure I was very, very good at what I did before I took on the responsibility of, reading another person or talking to them about what I saw. Um, also, um, when I was growing up, I saw a lot of these psychics who were getting sick as they got older. They seemed to be broke all the time. It seemed like, they were cursed. It just like something is wrong here, and it kind of made me wary. Do I really want to do this? Like, why are all these psychics, having problems? Well,
Uh,
especially astrologers. Astrologers would be like broke all the time. It was like, I met Peter. He was living in a camper. Now, granted, he was obsessional. He was building this stock market software, but still, like, I'm going, what's wrong with these people? For me, I reached a point when I realized that they were tuning into the other person. Now, that can be draining because when it's believe it or not, it's like promiscuity, because think about it, when you're tuning into all these people, you're going to have an energy drain and you're going to get vicarious trauma and you're going to start taking on their problems when you do that, when you're connecting like person to person. Okay, when I started realizing, getting more in the Bible kind of a thing and began to understand why it talks about, God doesn't really want you doing divination, but he emphasizes prophecy. And I start getting into that and I'm realizing there's a difference because like, why are you doing this? You know, and as I got deeper into the Bible, I began to understand that one of the reasons that you do prophesy to people is it helps them to understand that there is a God. And it talks about that. You know, it says if you're leading people to understand there's a God, then that's going to be blessed. That's prophecy. That's different. Okay. But if you're going to sit there and just talk to someone about, is my boyfriend cheating on me? You know, that's not what this is for. It's not. It's just, you know, we have a higher purpose in what we're doing here. And that is to bring people in alignment to understand some of the crosses that they're carrying and some of the path that they're on, some of the things they're meant to bear. Because some of the really horrible things that have happened to me, I've seen in my chart and I've understood this is like a fate. This is like an assignment I signed up for when I came into this earth, you know? And it does help you understand more about the direction in your life, so to speak. So it's a big responsibility when you're reading a person, you know, and the more you get into this and the more that you see that you can see, you really come to grips with that. I mean, this is powerful stuff, you know, and sometimes I've tried to help people avoid bad fate, and sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. You know, I mean, I get lucky sometimes, you know. I remember I told the woman, you have really, really violent planets coming up. Like, I really want you to, like, you know, get a gun or a dog or something. And she goes, oh my God. She said, I'm rebuilding my kitchen and I have no back wall to my house. And I said, well, that is not good with your planets, you know. And I literally, you know, emphasized on her, she did get a dog. And sure enough, right when I told her, three men tried to break into her house and the dog chased them off. So I'm proud of that, you know? I mean, then I get the other calls where, you know, I told the woman one time, I do not want you driving on this day. You have horribly, horribly violent planets on a car. Do not get near a car on that day. And the woman literally calls me from the ambulance going, ha ha ha, you were right. And I'm going, that wasn't the point. You know, the
Uh,
point was to have you not drive that day, you know?
uh,
But she goes, well, I was just going to the corner store.
oh,
God. So, I mean, you're not going to win them all. Then again, sometimes you win in odd ways because when you're tuning into these things, you do get on a psychic wavelength and you will start to see things because, you know, when I was doing a lot of charts, all of a sudden I remember a phone number just started going through my head and it would not leave me. That phone number was bugging me. And I remember I told my mom, I can't get this phone number out of my head. She goes, have you tried calling it? I'm like, no, I haven't. She goes, call the damn thing. So, you know, I call the number. As soon as she answered the phone, I could see everything. I said, do you drive a blue Volkswagen? She's like, who is this? And I go, I know you don't know me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to freak you out, but like, do you drive a blue Volkswagen? She said, yes. I said, do you have a little boy? She said, yes. I said, then I want you out of that house. You know, like now. Now, what happened was she was so scared of me. She thought I was a psycho that, and that was fine with me, is what she did was she packed up and she went down to Mexico, I remember, for 2 weeks because she was scared I was a psycho. And she said she came back after 2 weeks and she found that her house had been broken into and that they had, you know, there were signs that they had gone to her son's room. So maybe I saved a life there by terrorizing that woman. I don't know. I mean, so
yeah,
sometimes, you know, sometimes you get lucky with this stuff, right?
yeah,
And that's the thing. I look at it that way, is that if we can save a few people like that, then it's all worth it. Um, when I have done murder cases, you know, and I'm able to shed some light, even if I don't think they're going to find the body, even if I don't think they're going to arrest the killer, it is a comfort to the families. I had a lot of trouble coming to
yeah,
grips with that when I was studying with Dorothy. I'm like, why are we doing this if we can't solve the case? Why? And she said, sometimes all we can do is give comfort to the family to know what's happening, you know?
yeah,
And the more that I've talked to murder, including, you know, my own grandmother got murdered. Yeah, there is something to that comfort of knowing what happened, even if you
yeah,
can't prove it, you know? Um, it just that the mothers that I've talked to and given them some enlightenment on the case, you are doing God's work when you do this, as long as you're sure what you're doing, which is why I'm saying back up and study until you are absolutely sure what you're doing, you know, and that takes a while, but you will get there. You do chart after chart after chart and you will get there.